guys, it's Brooke here from the Vintage Gardener. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be setting up my drip irrigation. Now I put all the lines down last year and I did the initial setup, and there are plenty of videos under the parterre garden section if that's something that you want to see. This year I have not had to turn it on. In addition to the fact that we actually got a real spring, we also got a lot of moisture. So April was very rainy. Actually, we've just been getting a lot of rain. And the benefits to getting a lot of rain is I don't have to water. So for the past, basically since I started planting, everything in my garden that you've seen, all the pictures, all the lushness, that is just been on rainwater only. No irrigation. But we're getting to the point where the temperatures are going to be starting to be in the consistent 90s. So today I think is 81, and then tomorrow's in the 80s, and then we go to 90 for a few days. And so I really need to get that set up. Now, interestingly enough, we're also getting some rain, but that's fine. It's an easy thing to deal with. So I use the beehive system. Now with the beehive system, it's by Orbit. There are two varieties. I have the first generation, and then I have the XD. And actually, you know what? Let me get them to show you what they look like. Okay, so this is the XD. This is what they came out with last year. This is the first gen. Now, both of them can be controlled via Bluetooth, but if you're doing it via Bluetooth, the problem is you won't have the functionality of the Wi-Fi, which will read your weather conditions. So for example, if it's raining, it'll say, hey, put it in a time, basically an automatic rain delay, and it's really nice. I like it that way. Aside from that, you're gonna have to go out there with your phone and kind of like manually switch, which you can do. It's just that it's much easier when it's alerting you. And the other thing with the Bluetooth, with the Wi-Fi hubs, is that you can control them from anywhere in the country. The other thing is, so this right here is a hub. This is the one for the first generation. Mine is no longer working, which really sucks. Now, Orbit did give me a gift card to get a new one. The only problem is they're sold out of these online. So that means that all of these I now have to program using Bluetooth. Hopefully these come in stock. What I may end up doing is just, if I see one on like Amazon, just grab it and then use the Orbit Orbit gift card to buy something else in the Beehive series, because they have a couple different things that I could use. So one thing is I have to do now with setting up is I got to make sure that all the pieces and parts are there. One thing. So for example, I don't know if you guys can see in here. Let me see if I can focus in here. There is a little piece in here that's got mesh, and it's a stopper. It's a hose. It's like a washer, but it's got mesh in it. And I'm gonna see if I can try to pull it out. This is what it looks like. Okay, that has to be in every one of these. This kind of slows down the rush of water. It also acts to filter out stuff. As you can see, I've got a lot of brown. It's because I have rust in my well, and the rust does leave deposits. It can clog things. And so basically every year when I turn it on, I check it out to make sure that parts and pieces don't need to be replaced. I have spare couplers, spare backflow prevention valves, spare connectors, the couplers to connect the threaded faucet into the piping, because sometimes they just break. With these particular faucet timers, you can't leave them outdoors, over winter. So I do have to disassemble it every year, although I can leave the tubing there. So I'm going to go outside and I'm going to show you how I'm going about the process, anything that I have to fix. The one thing, if you're going to use the Beehive, is every year make sure you update your software. Because I bought a new faucet timer. Beehive came out with a 4-zone one, and I have it set up, but the problem is I was having connectivity issues because my iPhone software was old. So once I fixed that, it addressed the problem. So let's go
Guys,
outside.
so I have a headset in. Hopefully you guys should be able to hear me over the cars. Okay, so let's go to this section right here. And I'm gonna zoom the camera down. Okay, so I'm sure you guys can see that's rust. Sometimes the rust builds up in here, and like last night I actually had to pull all this off and clean it up because the rust left deposits. Okay, so that's my rust situation, and it puts deposits in a lot of the stuff actually. So this particular installation for this one went fine. This controls the memorial gardens and the other middle section, and so I tested that last night. Everything came online. It was fine. Now this section over here, guys, since we're over here, let me just give you guys an update on this green section. I cut the foxglove back because there were plants behind it. They weren't getting enough sun. So now, for example, you can see the chrysanthemums and that sort of thing. There's a dahlia back there. There's some zinnias. So I think everything else will be happy. Now, if you look at this faucet, you can see they're not connected. Immediately below the faucet, there's a piece that's a backflow preventer valve, and then below that is the actual hookup to the actual hose. That part snapped off, so I had to get a new one. So sometimes that just happens, and sometimes they can leak. Okay, guys, so here is one of the links right here. So the one thing that you may note, this is the backflow prevention valve, and one thing you notice is there's nothing in here. There's supposed to be a washer with a mesh on it. If that's missing, that's going to cause a problem. It's going to cause water to spray. The mesh kind of slows down the water, but also it filters like some of the rust and stuff from getting into the lines. So I have to get a replacement mesh washer for that. Lowe's has them, so that's something I have to pick up today. So I didn't set up the section yet. Oh, and look, guys, I have zinnias. That's the orange lime, and then the pure orange is down here. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so guys, so this is the 4-in-1. I'm going to be dividing these sections. So zone number 1 is going to be the red and pink section. The reason I'm separating these off is because they do get some shade in the afternoon, so they don't dry out as quickly. Now over here, sorry about that. Over here, this is the second red section. And so this gets a lot more sun, so it's going to need to be watered more often. Also, some of these run into there. So what I'm going to do is the connection to, I guess, this second section right here starts kind of on the other side, on the side of the hibiscus. So I'm going to cut it there and run a new line to zone 2. Now zone 3 is the promenade garden over there. There is a connection over there. I have to bring it forward. I have to set up the little speed bump things so that the lines don't get crushed. And then last but not least, I think I'm going to add a 4th zone to go to the hydrangeas over there. I will only have to water them like once a week. But still, I want to have that. So that will be 4. I'm going to back over in this corner, the one I showed you where the hookup wasn't working. I'm going to have to get a 4-way splitter for that one. And actually, I'm trying to think. I may need 2 more 4-way splitters. I think. But definitely over here, because I need to do one for the blue-green section, one for the hydrangeas, and then with all the arborvitae I got, they're going to go over there, and I need to keep them well watered. And with the black distribution tubing, you can run 300 feet of it So I'm gonna need something to go off that. And then, sorry about that. I am gonna need, see, on one hand, I don't think a 4-way splitter is necessary over here, but unfortunately Beehive only sells them in 4-way splitters, not 2. Because I would like to run a line to the hydrangeas, but you know something? By using the 4-way splitters, especially the one that was over there, I had more than one timer in that corner, so I may have some leftover units. So I may just have to get like a manual splitter for here to water those hydrangeas back there. Good morning, guys. It's the next day. I did set up the majority of the irrigation system. I was looking for my bag of tools, but let me come out here and show you what I got done. Some of the stuff I was doing was at night, so that's why I didn't film, because I was using a headlamp. So let me turn the camera around. Okay guys, so here we go. Here's the first one. Now that's one of the old units that I have to do from Bluetooth, so that's why I put it in this purple section, because it's closer to the house, so I'll be able to connect inside rather than having to come out. So I wasn't missing any pieces from that one, but if you guys remember over here from yesterday's video, there was the part that connected to the hose that was broken, and so as you can see, I have repaired that. So you know what, I don't know that I turned the water on though, so let me see if I can go turn the water on. Okay. Actually, let me turn this back off because the top part is leaking, which I don't want. I guess that's not on tight enough. So, you know what? It feels pretty tight, so I'm probably gonna have to take that entire thing off and reset it. So that's fine. I'll do that in a bit. This one I still didn't set up. And I still didn't set up the one in the orange section. Oh, and some of the gladiolus are coming up. Let's see. I think actually that's one of the ones that belongs to the parterre garden, but they're so close that it's showing up in the orange section, I mean. And last but not least, I got this section online, and I have three zones. So let me show you what I did on the other side. So here we are. So I separated the red and pink out from the promenade bed. So actually, hang on. There we go. Okay, so I used a 90-degree hook, joint, oh boy, a 90-degree elbow, and I used those metal brackets to make sure the pressure doesn't blow them off the little connector. And then up there, as you can see, that goes to the promenade bed. So I got some old tubing that I had. I reused some of it. I put a connector on it, and I put another, thing on, connector on. So now I have 3. So the fourth one is going to go for the hydrangeas that are over there. But let me show you the rest of how I did everything. So one of the lines is doing the other side of the promenade bed. So it goes like this. It goes through here. This is to make sure that the hoses don't get crushed with the cars. and it connects over here. And basically, this was already set up from last year, so I just had to screw it in the faucet. Okay, guys, so when I went out there and took the spigot, the faucet timer off, this is the mesh piece that goes inside of it. It's not really feeling, it's kind of bent in, that sort of thing. So I'm going to replace it with a new one because this really wasn't doing a really tight seal, and that's probably going to cause some leaks. So I think once I replace it with the new one, this will work better. Now, in case you guys are wondering, I got this from Lowe's. It's in the plumbing section. When I get back inside, I'll show you guys the packet if you guys need to replace it. This is great for putting on the hoses and these faucets because it does filter any debris and that sort of thing, and kind of regulates the water pressure coming through. So if you don't have one of these with the beehive timers, the water is just going to spray out of this. It won't even go in. It's just sprays everywhere. So let me go change this right now. Okay, guys, so I attached it and I've turned on the water, and so voila, as you can see, no leaking. So that's exactly what it should be. So, replacing this was a good idea. So now it fits better. So now let's go inside and I'll show you the little party bag I made for myself. Actually, while I'm out here, I can't remember if I turned this one on. I think I did, and this, it's really tricky trying to set it up now because the plants are so big. Let's see. Wait, am I supposed to be turning to right or left? You know what? I don't remember. I think it's this way. Okay. Well, I don't hear any, so I guess it's fine. No leaking. So I'll be coming back and running a full test later on. Okay, guys, so here's my little party bag. That's what I like to call it. So these are the mesh things that I was talking about. They are hose washers. So it's hose washers, 3-pack with filter. You can use them for multiple applications, including washer machine, but it's in the plumbing section on that aisle. So it's 3 for a pack. It was like $2.69. And then to attach the hose, the distribution tubing to the actual spigot behind this thing, which is the backflow preventer. This goes directly underneath the timer, and then you put this end on the bottom of this. So this was like $2 something too. They tend to fall apart right here. So it's always good to have some spare ones of these. So I have a couple different types of couplers. Now this is by Mr. Landscaper. They have couplers. I do like their couplers better because it's easy to fit the distribution. You basically put the distribution tube over this, and then you slide it the cuff forward, and you turn it right. It's much easier, but they're more expensive. This is one by Dig. This is a straight coupler. The thing with the Dig ones is that it's really hard to get the pieces in, and you have to twist and twist, and they're cheaper, but it does take a lot more effort. Now, these couplers right here, I ordered off of Amazon. It was a pack. Obviously, this is a straight coupler. This is a T-coupler. They're made to go into 1/2-inch tubing. And with the distribution tubing, the blank ones, you can use them pretty well without the clamps. But when I start using the brown distribution emitter hole tubing, that's when the fit isn't the best. So you need to use a clamp. And for clamps, I use these flexible metal clamps. I got these from Lowe's. It's in number 8 stainless steel hose clamp. I got it in 10-pack, but it basically fits from 7/16 of an inch to 1 inch. So and it's a 1/2 inch wide, but that's 1/2-inch tubing, so this size works fine. Something slightly smaller that maybe goes up to 3/4 of an inch would work fine. So basically you put this on the tube, so I put it on the tube on it like this, and then slide the tube on, and then put this over the distribution tube, and then they have a little screw for you to tighten it. So that was what's in my party bag this year. I'm glad I found these hose washers because the thing is, if you lose the washers off the Orbit faucets, like I said, they're not going to work. And Orbit themselves don't have replacements. So if one falls off or it gets the thing, they're just going to send you a whole new unit, which isn't a bad thing. But I don't see the point of wasting those when you can just go to Lowe's for like $268 and get a replacement pack, and they work just as well. So as you can see, the faucet wasn't leaking. So that's it for right now, guys. I will get the rest of the ones set up a little later, but that's in a nutshell how I do it. Once I actually start activating all the systems to test to make sure there's no clogs, then I'll come back on and I'll show you guys that. And I'll also show you the Beehive app and how it works. So see you guys later. Okay guys, so I've got all the spigots up. I tested just about everything, and so I ran everything a little bit to make sure that number one, there was no leaking at the faucet, but then number two, that each section was actually dripping. So I'm coming out here to check the last section, and I can already tell this is not going right. Okay guys, do you see all that? That lets me know something somewhere is not hooked up correctly, because it is spraying everywhere. Okay, so let me stop the test and we'll see what's going on. Okay guys, so I found the culprit. I thought it was the faucet. No, it's not the faucet. It's the connection. So, it's, I don't know if you guys can even see it from between here, but yeah, it's that, ooh, hang on. There we go. That's the connection. So I've got an elbow on it, but apparently that does not seem to be working. So I think I'm gonna have to change it for a straight coupler, because now actually, you know what, let me test the other sections that have those silver. Maybe it's just the elbow using those the flexible clamps are not working, but yeah, that's what's spraying. So just give me 1 second, I'll be back. Okay guys, so I'm off to Lowe's because actually I'm not leaving immediately after this last segment. I actually cleaned up a bunch of leaves. I filled 2 trash cans. The rest of it I'm gonna have to dump in that one side section, because I'm just layering all the leaves over there. Hopefully it'll smother stuff out so I can get the wood chips on there. But yeah, so I thought that what was leaking was the bracket, the flexible hose clamp. It's not. So there is an actual hole in that piping. So the piping that I used, like I was cannibalizing it from another area, and so I had cannibalized that from my old vegetable garden area. And in the old vegetable garden area, I had 1/4-inch drip tubing attached to the 1/2-inch poly tubing, and so I reused the 1/4-inch lines elsewhere, and I didn't have goof plugs. And I thought for some strange reason I had a bag of goof plugs, and I guess I used them all. So anyway, I didn't have that in my party bag, so I got to go to Lowe's and get some. So, because that's the only thing that's gonna stop that from geysering. I do need to tighten that. I have to tighten it at the top because it was leaking, but it was spraying. I mean, a couple dripping a little bit, like a little bit of a dripping, it doesn't bother me, but when it's like spraying at the top, that's where I've got an issue. So yeah, so
hopefully this underscores the importance of like every year this is what I have to do every year when I reattach everything, because, you know, hoses wear out, you know, the filters wear out. I have iron water, so there's iron, you know, leavings in the mesh stuff. Sometimes with the 1/4 inch tubing, I may have to sometimes replace that almost on a yearly basis, just because that iron does clog those little filters, and it's almost like no way to flush it out. The bigger ones have bigger holes, and I don't know, it's just easier to flush them out. So that is the deal, y'all. So when I get back, I will use my other camera to show you or actually, you know, maybe I can put it on my iPad so I can show you guys the Beehive app and how I set it up. And so that way, if you guys are considering getting an automated system, you can see the hows and where to's of my system. So to know if that's something that you want. So anyway, I'll check in with you guys after I'm finished at Lowe's. Okay guys, so I went to Lowe's, went to the store, came back, and I'll try to walk slower so I don't make anybody sick. And the hoses were on. Somehow the one test that I ran earlier that I turned off reactivated itself. And so it was spraying everywhere. So I grabbed a goof plug, plugged it, had to mess with the faucet. So here we are. It should be done. It just finished. Okay, so I fixed it. That was not what I wanted to come home to tonight. So, and fortunately I don't have my steady stick on me, guys. So that, in short, is how you set up your irrigation for the season.